And we keep track of time, being so serious. Idiots, thinking it will matter, keep me company downtown before the clock runs out. Sun is shining, but the rain is welcome too. Friends are nearby, don't need another view. Time is not on my mind, but then it's you. Oh, I love it when the love comes around, and then I remember all things must pass. But I'm not gonna wake up, wake up. I'm not ready, let me have another day. Don't wake up, wake up. Keep it steady, cause I'm happy, I'm not gonna wake up. No, not yet, whoa. No, not yet, whoa. No, not yet, whoa. I'm afraid I'll end up nowhere. They keep saying I'll be fine, but how you know that I'll be there?
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well, yes, here we are again for another lovely year. Yes, we go. So here we are anyways. Today is Monday. Oh, yes, that dreaded word Monday. You know, after the long week and people being gone and about, it's like, oh, I have to do it all over again. Anyways, it's Monday, January the 3rd of 2022. Let's make sure that we don't screw that up several times today. So it's the third day of the year and only 362 days to go. So how the hell have you been? Seriously, how have you been? It seems like it's been such a long time since you and I got to hang out together, do some things. You know, long week, vacation time, Christmas time, holidays, family, friends, you know, the hangout of the hangouts. How was it for you? Are you ready to get back into the move and the groove? Are you ready for the rat race? Are you ready to do the things that we get to do together? Anyways, we're broadcasting live from our Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and we're coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. We hang out here on Safety FM, and we also hang out with our friends at that other place that we do a lot of stuff with.
Radio.
So, you know, we're already on day 3 of the new year of 2022. People are already, you know, with their New Year's resolutions, what they're planning on doing, what they want to break up, what they want to break apart. Okay, maybe they don't want to break up and break apart, all that stuff. You know, those are things that do occur during the time frame, but definitely something to think about, talk about, and so on. So, did you do a New Year's resolution? I'm not big on those. I mean, I'll be honest with you, not something that I do, but a lot of people like to do them. But I will tell you, I mean, and as shitty as this sounds starting off first thing, you know, normally by this time, people have already broken whatever their New Year's resolution is, which kind of sucks. Well, let's be honest about that. And those things happen. But that's cool. I mean, we'll get through a lot of this. We'll talk about it. And, you know, it's all about being the new whatever. You know, the new year, new me, new year, and all that kind of fun stuff. You know, you do you, I will do me, and, you know, we can do each other. But it's something to talk about for sure. It's something to talk about in regards of what you want to do. What are you wanting to accomplish this year? We could talk about that as we get into it. So starting off everything, not really that I want to start off with a downer, but let's talk about it. Of course, a lot of hashtags over the weekend of 2022. Of course, hashtag of Antonio Brown as he walked off the field yesterday. Of course, hashtag of Betty White with her passing away. Hashtag. So we're going to talk this year. We're going to talk a lot about a lot of things. And of course, we can start going through that whole thing of, we haven't spoken since last year, the traditional bullshit that people do early on, the early beginning of the year. But let's focus on some things this year. Let's do some things together that will really have an impact. Let's do some things together that will change things. So if we're going to sit down and plan some of these things out, let's do some stuff together that will have some impact moving forward. What will those things be? I don't know. That's way too serious for having this conversation first thing on a Monday. I mean, let's be realistic. But seriously, if you want to do something that was going to be of impact and change, plan them out. Let's start talking about them. People want to get to the new year. I can't do this in December. We have to wait till January. What do you want to do? We got time now. You got the whole 362 in front of you. What are you going to make different this year? Think about that. So anyways, if you're not familiar with the show, it's not going to change much this year. We will still traditionally do our news. We'll still talk about safety. We'll talk about everything that's going on. And then we'll move and groove and get some things inside of our system and go from there. Anyways, if you want to come in, hop on and all that, the social media platforms are available. I'll take a glance and a look-see over there from time to time. You can also go to callinradio.com. Yes, that's callinradio.com, and we'll get to hang out and do some things there. What does that mean to you? There's a messaging system, there's a texting system, and there's a video voice call system. Put the video voice or the video. Yeah, it's a video and a voice all together, kind of like a camera works, how those things actually do. So a lot of stuff will be going on as we are talking this year and going through, and we will do a lot of focusing on talking about the year. But the show won't change. It's just going to be you and I. We might have a scandler here and there that might come in and take a visit and talk to us. But anyways, let's get moving and grooving right away. Let's talk to our friends at Feature Story News as we're starting off this whole thing. Let's see what they have to say.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Brussels, I'm Benji Haya. Sudan's Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok has resigned following mass protests in the country's capital, Khartoum. Thousands of demonstrators took to the streets to call for a return to full civilian rule and oppose a deal that he made to share power with the army. The military responded with force, leaving 2 people dead, and the army now remains in full control. A man has been arrested after a fire damaged the Houses of Parliament in Cape Town. The suspect, who's not a parliamentary employee, will appear in court on Tuesday following charges of arson, housebreaking and theft. Patricia de Lille is South Africa's Minister of Public Works.
This is a very sad day for our democracy because Parliament is the home of our democracy.
France has followed several other EU states in cutting the COVID-19 quarantine period for fully vaccinated people from 10 days down to 7 over fears of staff shortages. Self-isolation can be reduced to just 5 days with a negative test result. Over the weekend, France became the 6th country in the world to surpass 10 million total recorded cases of COVID-19. A number of measures remain in place, such as mandatory working from home, limits for unvaccinated citizens, and international travel restrictions. From this week, children as young as 6 will also have to wear masks outdoors in city centres and in most public spaces. Meanwhile, in England, face coverings will be required in schools as term restarts. Education Secretary Nadhim Zahawi insists this will be a short-term rule.
I don't want it to be in classroom a day longer than necessary. It's just really while we deal with Omicron. Omicron's a big bump in the road as we transition this virus from pandemic to endemic.
Students are being encouraged to get tested twice weekly and to get both doses of the vaccine. Turkey's annual inflation jumped 36% year-on-year in December. That's the highest since September 2002, as the lira tumbled further after suffering its worst year since President Erdogan came to power nearly 2 decades ago. The president continues to favour cutting interest rates as a way to alleviate the crisis, though that's a view which runs contrary to conventional economic theory. And more than 1,000 out-of-school girls in Tanzania have been enrolled for adult learning. It comes as the World Bank recently approved a $500 million education loan amid pressure from civil society organisations which had raised concerns over schoolgirls' education rights, as Daniel Kijo reports.
The global lender said that the education support would directly benefit about 6.5 million secondary school students, half of them girls, by strengthening government-run schools and establishing strong educational pathways for children who drop out of formal school system. The The education is provided free of charge with the aim of achieving the government's target of enrolling 3,000 girls targeted by the project across the country this year. Tanzania's primary school enrollment was at 8.3 million in 2015 and increased to 10.1 million 3 years later. The World Bank also reported at least 300,000 children were unable to start secondary education, while over 60,000 children dropped out of lower secondary school due to pregnancy every year.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, and for this first Spotlight of the year, we're putting the focus on the Beijing Winter Olympics. They are just a month away now, and it is now apparent that only a handful of countries are going to join the Biden administration's diplomatic boycott. Britain, Australia and Canada, like the US, will have no government officials observing the Games. But the EU, worried about blowback from China, has yet to announce an agreed position. And in the US, the Biden administration is accused by its opponents of not going far enough. Bob McMahon is an analyst with the New York-based Council on Foreign Relations.
The people who criticize the move on other grounds say it's basically half measures. Okay, you don't send an official delegation, but so what? The athletes are still there. China still gets to host the games that will take place with full participation and so forth. But the fact of announcing this, the fact of calling attention to China's record on human rights does register with China. China does not like to be called out in this way. They vehemently defend their record and they vehemently defend their right to carry out their internal affairs as they see fit, whether it's repressing people as they see fit, all sorts of measures that China takes that are seen as outside of international norms. You will see a consistent Chinese approach to mitigate against what they call interventions in internal affairs.
The Games get underway with opening ceremonies on February the 4th. Anxieties about COVID-19 perhaps causing more immediate concern in Beijing than the US-led boycott. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
A reminder again of our top stories. Sudan's Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok has resigned following mass protests in the country's capital, Khartoum. France has followed several other EU states in cutting the COVID-19 quarantine period for fully vaccinated people, whilst in England, face coverings will be required in school as term restarts. And Turkey's annual inflation jumped 36% year-on-year in December, the highest since September 2002, as the lira tumbled further after suffering its worst year since President Erdogan came to power nearly 2 decades ago. That's the latest feature story news. I'm Benji Haya in Brussels.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
You know how sometimes there's plans for everything out there? You have plans of going back to the gym. You have plans on eating right. You have plans on doing a diet. You know, all those things. What if I told you that you can make a plan to stop male pattern baldness? And let me tell you how you can start this journey off right now with my friends at Keeps. All you have to do is go to the website keeps.com, KEEPS.com/safety to receive your first month free of treatment. Keep in mind, 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of hair loss by the time that they are 35. More than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. There are 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss. Keeps offers them both. So all you need to do is go to KEEPS.com/safety to find out more and to get your plan rolling. Now keep this in mind. For a limited time, get your first month free and claim your offer at KEEPS. That's keeps.com/safety. KEEPS.com/safety.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets, and they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. 2 minutes twice a day, making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Oh no, don't tell me I've lost all my money. Oregon salesman loses $140. Chet Gould reporting for American Express, the company for people who travel. The place, Los Angeles. 4 hours before his return flight to Portland, a salesman asked for his hotel bill and discovered that he didn't have a penny. $140 was missing. A problem? Not for this experienced traveler. His money was in American Express traveler's checks, the safe money. American Express in Los Angeles gave him a full refund right on the spot. Whenever you travel, be sure you carry American Express traveler's checks, the safe money. Safer than cash. Good everywhere. Prompt refund if lost or stolen. They cost just a penny per dollar. Buy them at your bank. American Express traveler's checks, the safe money. Safer than cash.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes. Don't worry. Just in case if you just had like a shock and awe moment, that's definitely called a throwback commercial there for American Express, in case if you were wondering what exactly was going on. Anyways, 18 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday, the 3rd of January of 2022, as we're doing the things together and everything along those lines. Boy, am I back. Glad to be back to hang out and do some things here. So let's start talking right away. Following the death of Betty White on Friday, her planned one-night-only 100th birthday special at the movie theaters will still take place on January the 17th, which have been the beloved Golden Girls actress' 100th birthday. Originally titled Betty White's 100 Years Young, the screening is now billed as Betty White's A Celebration, in addition to a retrospective of her 8-decade career in tributes from celebrity friends and co-stars. Betty White, A Celebration will also features the actress's final interview. So, in case you're looking forward to doing that, that's on January the 17th on select movie theaters, about the celebration of the life of Betty White, who had turned 100 on the 17th. Anyway, let's continue talking. So I didn't tell you a lot of the stuff that was going on at the very beginning of the news when we first started. So let's start talking about this. We always talk about the box office when we come back on Monday. So let's talk about this real quick. Spider-Man No Way Home is on the path of becoming one of the top 10 highest grossing films in the U.S. box office history with no new release on New Year's weekend. The Christmas weekend box office trends continue to play out. The latest Marvel film is becoming the highest grossing release ever, exceeding $600 million domestically. Globally, the film has passed $1.3 billion, putting it on top of the top 15 of all time. In the coming days, it's set to pass the worldwide totals of Jurassic Park World, Fallen Kingdom, and Star Wars The Last Jedi. So there you go. If you're interested inside of that stuff, that's what's going on there. In some other news, Jeopardy contestant Amy Chandelier has broken the show's record of the longest winning streak of a female player. The engineering manager earned the 21st consecutive win on Wednesday, surpassing Julia Collins' record of 20, set back in 2014. On Thursday, Amy extended her run to 22. She admitted that instead of concentrating on answers during the game, she was mainly thinking about whether she would beat Collins' record. She's now sits as the fourth overall behind Ken Jenkins with 74 wins. So just to give you some names there. Also, Nicolas Cage knows it sounds pretentious, but he wants to be referred to as a thespian. The Oscar winner, known for his performances in Leaving Las Vegas and Face Off, said that he's not a fan of being called an actor. In a podcast interview, Cage said, "For me, it always implies that he's a great actor, therefore he's a great liar." I mean, isn't that what an actor is? Just kind of like a lawyer? I mean, I'm sorry, did I say that? He says the word thespian worked for him better because thespian means that you're going into your heart and you're going into your imagination or your memories or your dreams, and you're bringing something back to the community with the audience. He is currently he stars in the film Pig. Having seen Deadfall, I can only agree that he should never be called an actor. Just something to think about.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
So, anyways, 21 minutes past the top of the hour. A lot of things going on right away, of course, as we are hanging out, talking, and all that stuff. But let's start it off right away and start talking. And let's bring John Smalls inside of here and let him give you what happened with the market beat for last week.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, January 3rd, 2022. Equities pulled back a little at the end of last week, the last week of 2021, but left the S&P 500 trading at a new all-time high for the year. The move caps off another year of outsized gains for the index, gains that were driven in a large part by stimulus spending and inflation. With stimulus spending a thing of the past and inflation still a concern, there is a risk growth will come to a standstill in 2022. The biggest news this week will come from the economic front and include the FOMC minutes as well as the monthly NFP reading. The minutes will be important for clues to the FOMC's plans on rate hikes, while the NFP data will tell us how many new jobs were created in December. Also on tap this week are readings of the ISM, PMI construction spending, and factory orders, so there will be plenty for the market to chew on. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one, letting us know what exactly is going on inside of the market. You know, I will tell you that over the weekend, I was able to hang out with, we'll call them a financial guru, talking about how the inflation had increased over the last year and what they thought should be done. And I thought it was kind of an interesting, sitting back, having a conversation, doing all that stuff. And they were like, if you're going to invest in anything, I mean, of course, this was their words, not mine. Real estate, real estate, real estate. And I guess I was like, wow, you can just, a stock seems a little bit cheaper than just investing in real estate. But hey, they're the guru and I'm just kind of like the listener. So there we go. Anyways, a lot of stuff going on. Good to hear from Johnny Smalls as we're starting off the year and doing all that kind of fun stuff. So let's start talking about the not so great googly moogly. Unbelievably, Google is no longer the most visited website in the world. According to Cloudflare Radar popularity ranking in the late 2021, the search engine was officially been knocked from the top spot. The new champ is no other than the video sharing app TikTok. It first emerged as the most popular website on February 17th, but that only lasted for one day. It gained about, it again rose to number one in March and stayed on top for a few more days. The same happened in May, and then after that in August the 10th, and then TikTok was the most popular domain most days, almost passing fellow social media platforms such as Facebook. Cloudflare puts the top 10 websites in popularity for 2021 in order following TikTok was Google and Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, YouTube, Netflix, WhatsApp, and Instagram. So think about that real quick. More people now are going to TikTok than what they are going to Google.com. Now, there's some things to think about, of course. Do you think that's because the search engine's already built into the web browser? Or do you think that, TikTok is just that popular? I mean, you'll definitely know better than I do. I mean, wasn't Clubhouse supposed to be the main thing for last year? Wasn't everybody saying how that was going to be like the second coming of Christ? I mean, I'm just asking the question. Not being trying to be sacrilegious. I'm just asking the question. But wasn't everybody saying that was going to be the big thing? I mean, it's also definitely the number one site for wasting time. I mean, think about it that way. If my wife had anything to do with with it, number one would be Amazon. All the way. No doubt whatsoever. Hopefully she's not listening this morning because, I might be sleeping on the couch.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things going on inside of the world as we are hanging out. The plain tooth. I found this one, and I figured, maybe we should talk about it. Even with regular visits to the dentist, children from richer families are more likely to experience tooth decay, according to the first metadata analysis of its kind. The systematic review of 65 studies conducted in 30 countries suggested the corrosive effect of soda, juices, energy drinks have eaten away in some of the privileges provided by wealth and education. Among teens who attend private schools and whose parents are at the higher levels of education and income, tooth wear was discovered to be a significantly worse. Dental researcher Khalid Ahmed of Griffith University in Australia says that this might sound counterintuitive when teens from affluent families are more likely to have access to regular dental care. The truth is that fizzy drinks, energy drinks, and packed juices are in many countries available as affluent to those people who may or may not be frequently exposed to it. So to sugar-based drinks and foods and so on. So let me just make sure that I have this clear. And wouldn't you know it, though, my kids are always trying to give the impression that they are from some kind of rich family. If you kind of take a look at that from the tooth decay side. And poor kids have nicer teeth because the rich kids with bad teeth went to the dentist and became poorer kids with nice teeth. I mean, just one way to think about it. I mean, kind of an interesting way on how the university here is thinking about this in Australia, coming up with some of this stuff. And, you're probably sitting there going, hey, you're kind of all over the place this morning. And, that's okay. We're starting to talk about some of the things that are going on because, this is what happens. We start off with a slow news cycle because that's what happens after some of these long holidays. And we go from there. We go in and we talk about it and go and talk and move and groove and all that other kind of fun stuff. Anyway, so as we were hanging out over the last little bit and doing the things that we're doing, how's it going? Have you been giving a lot of thought to what should move forward? What should be important this year? What should go in and about and so on? If you had the opportunity while we were gone last week, did you contact anybody that you hadn't been in contact with for some period of time? Were you able to be in communication with anyone that might have been dear and near to your heart for a period of time and might have lost contact? I'm just wondering, because I will tell you, in the month of December alone, I had two very close friends. Matter of fact, that's a lie. I had them in the end of November end of November and then also in the month of December, I had two very close friends lose their parents. Lose one of their parents at least. Matter of fact, both of them, now that I think about it, lost a parent, which made them parentless because they both had passed away, mother and father, and so on. And, I think that sometimes we tend to forget how important communication is. And, I felt kind of like a shitty individual when some of this was going on because it was like, are we only contacting you because now something has occurred? Meaning from my standpoint to them, not them to me. And I look at it and I go, sometimes we get so busy living our life that we forget about things that had impact and influence in our life throughout. One of the friends was from high school, and the other friend was somebody who I've met over the last few years. Still consider them both close. But it's just amazing sometimes that we forget on relationships that we have because we're living a life. Interesting on how some of those things work. Anyways, it is 30 minutes past the top of the hour. I think it might be time for us to start hanging out and doing that thing that we do that we call it the main story. So let's do that right now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So anyways, a lot of stuff going on always because, if things were not going on, what exactly would be going on? It becomes the whole question. And, as we continue to go through this whole thing, 2020 wasn't that great according to some because of how the beginning of the pandemic started happening for some of us. And 2021 was another year that was like it's supposed to be better. And then, of course, some people have been thinking about it going, well, 2022, is that TWO or TOO? And it can become weird. It can become one of those things of, do I have the panic moment? Do I have the freak out moment? Well, maybe let's not talk about all of that. But it's becoming an interesting time. It's becoming one of these times in life that pandemic is one thing. Our jobs have actually really changed in some of the aspects and some of the things that have been going on. And I look at it, and there's some things that we will do as people, as humans, just to make sure that we eat. And don't get me wrong, it's important. I don't ever want it to come across that it's not important for us to eat. Let's stop eating. But it's weird sometimes, some of the stuff that we will do for work purposes. It's weird sometimes, some of the things that we will do just to make sure from one aspect to another. Now think about this for just a brief moment in time. Brief, tiny, small. When you hear this definition for a moment, I want you to tell me what comes to mind. Coercive control is an act or a pattern of acts of assault, threats, humiliation, and intimidation or other abuse that is used to harm, punish, or frighten people. So let's go through that again. Coercive control is an act or pattern of acts of assault, threats, humiliation, and intimidation or other abuse that is used to harm or punish or frighten others. Sound familiar? Or we can look at it this way: control of others' person's behavior by using force, threat, or by fear. Now, I want you to think about this for us together. Now, there's a lot of stuff that we can talk about possibly as this is coming together here. But think about it. Think about the worst employer that you've ever had. And do any of these things that I'm talking about apply to them? Was it shame and reframe and threaten in regards of what is going on? Now, coercive control, here's where it's going to get kind of strange, is normally something that's talked about when it comes to cults, people that are being abused. And it makes it weird when you start thinking about this and go on how this can apply to a work environment. What? Yeah, work environment. And how odd is that? Now, I have a friend of mine that I speak to almost on a daily basis. And they work in a place where if you're a minute late, you're shamed. If you leave a minute early, you're shamed. And I always find it interesting on how it works. Now, don't get me wrong. They pay extremely well based on what I'm told. But I always find it interesting on how it works. It's kind of go with the role and go with the format, or you're ostracized. You're shamed. You're punished. I mean, I even have had conversations, and this might be taking it to a level that I'm probably not supposed to talk about, where they have threatened people that if they didn't quit, they were going to be fired, and they encouraged them to quit. And it's like, I don't get it. And these are people that had several years of tenure. I'm talking over 5. And we're told that they needed to leave and find something before we fire you. And I just don't understand how levels of shame can be done in this format inside of job places. I don't understand on how a level of control is given. Now, if you go into old format, if you start thinking about some of the other things, now think about it. There was jobs back in the day, and I'm talking about 10 years ago, 20 years ago, that were all about how they were setting you up for life. Your pension, the things that you were going to get on the back end, the things that you were going to be able to do later on, and all that kind of fun stuff. But nowadays, really most jobs consist of what you're going to make at that time. They don't really set you up with all kinds of benefits in the long run. Now, not all jobs. I'm saying a good chunk of them. Think about it right now. How often do you hear about pensions? How often do you hear about extras and so on? Like, I'll tell you, I was recently in another country, as we've discussed here, and had conversations with people where they told me on how they would get paid for a 13th month in the year. A 13th month. Yeah. They got paid for not going to work for a 13th month. Interesting on how some of those things work. But anyways, I keep on thinking about this coercive control thing. Is it something that actually goes on inside of your workplace? Is it something that goes on that makes you bring up a level of fear? Is it something that you're being told currently, if you don't do X, you can no longer work here? Seriously, think about that for a moment. That seems to be a very popular thing as of late. If X doesn't occur, you might not be able to work here. And let me tell you, not everything that I'm talking about is related to job performance. Yeah, you're hearing me correctly this morning. I don't want there to be any confusion. But isn't that interesting on how coercive control works? You do this, or you're no longer here. You do that, I will bring this up. And it's interesting to me on how a lot of work environments shame their people if they end up leaving. It's always amazing on how more things come out of the woodwork than what were there when the person was originally there. Just always interesting to me on how that works. Don't know why we're talking about this in 2022, but something tells me you're a pretty smart individual. Something tells me that you know exactly where we're going with all of this. Anyways, currently 38 minutes past the top of the hour. We'll be back real soon.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Radio. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes presents Confucius Say with Homer and Jethro. Oh, great Confucius Say, how we can keep milk from turning sour.
Keep milk from turning sour?
Yes.
Keeping cow.
Corniest Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
The real Corn Flakes.
More.
Confucius Say, why savage not buy a new boomerang?
Not buy a new boomerang?
Too hard throw old one away.
Corniest Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
The real Corn Flakes. A corny classic. I hear you're going to a psychiatrist.
Not me. Anybody goes to a psychiatrist ought to have his head examined. Ooh, that's corny. Corny as Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
The real Corn Flakes.
Or advised Great Cornfuge.
Man who not know which side bread is buttered on?
Yes.
Make sure have napkin.
Yeah, a large hairy dog. Corny as Kellogg's Corn Flakes. Cornfuchsians say corny as flakes is Kellogg's.
Get the real Corn Flakes, get Kellogg's.
Do what Cornfuchsians say.
These days, it can be hard to find and hire the right candidates for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs made it easier to find the people that you want to talk to faster and for free. I have to tell you, even before they ever became a sponsor here on Safety FM, we have used LinkedIn Jobs to help find the people that we have here on Safety FM. It's an easy service to use. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified candidates. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
How it goes, and I save the details that actually mean something. Sun is shining, but the rain is welcome too. Friends are nearby, don't need another view. Time is not on my mind, but then it's you. Oh, I love it when the love comes around, and then I remember all things must pass. But I'm not gonna wake up, wake up. I'm not ready, let me have another day. Don't wake up, wake up. Keep it steady, cause I'm happy, I'm not gonna wake up. No, not yet, whoa. No, not yet, whoa. No, not yet, whoa. But I'm not gonna wake up, wake up.
so there you go. There's Mind Me featuring Mia. Not gonna wake up. I always love these cameras over here. I really do. It's like they lock up and do whatever they want to do. Anyway, so that was Mia, just in case. And that song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. Not gonna wake up. I like this one. I really do. Does it deserve a loopy loopy? I don't know. Maybe it does. So, just some interesting things always going on. I feel like we should probably just play the whole song.
Time is not on my mind, but then it's you. Oh, I love it when the love comes around and then.
You know, I have to tell you, I probably shouldn't say this. So I reached out right away to the person that we were talking about this morning, and in regards to some of their job place, and they listened. And they were like, yeah, you were spot on and everything you said. So good. I wasn't sure if I was going to be, if I was going to, get the wrath of, how dare you speak of my workplace on something that I told you? And that's the bad habit that I have, is I have that blabbering mouth.
They keep saying I'll be fine.
That I don't know sometimes what's okay to talk about and what's not to talk about. But hey, I guess if we're in the clear, let's just continue talking. Anyway, so thank you to Mind Me for allowing us to play this one and do the things that we do around here. So it is currently 46 minutes past the top of the hour, and we're doing our thing. Hopefully you're doing your thing. So I have to ask the all-importante question. Did you do anything out of the ordinary? Did you do anything that you didn't expect during the holiday? And what do I mean here? I mean exactly what you think I meant. Did you go out? Did you take one of those road trip things that you didn't expect to do, but all of a sudden you did? All that kind of fun stuff. All the fun stuff that people do during the holiday season, where they take the road trip. They take a lot of the stuff and they go around and they go about and say, hey, what is this camera doing all of a sudden? They're going to go onto the holiday thing. Now, I will tell you, I have more friends and more people that I know that went skiing during this time frame. And I'll tell you, I hate the cold weather. If I can avoid it like the plague, I do. But if you were able to go out and do that and it's something you love, good for you. I mean, good for you. One of my parental units was in Colorado, and they hate the cold weather. They tell me they hate going anywhere that's below 70. And all of a sudden where they were at was 27 degrees at the bottom of the mountain. And no, I told you that backwards. It was 1 degree. No. What's the story? It was 1 degree at the bottom of the mountain and minus 27 at the top. I managed to go to the top, and I was like, I don't know if I dislike things that much in my life that I'd want to go there. Anyways, let's get back into some of the news and talk about what's going on there. After hearing of a possible break-in, co-owner of a savvy barbershop in Montreal decided to check the security footage and discovered that the broken glass in his business occurred by a couple that fell through while kissing. The shop owner says they're willing to pay for a night stay in a hotel for the couple if they had if they came forward and identified themselves. The shards of glass have since been framed inside the shop. Mike Ross, not from Suits fame, says that, however, that he thinks that there's something romantic about never finding out who it is. They just said the mystery couple, that they're part of our history forever. It's kind of fun. Tell the truth to the dude that ripped the jacket and the girlfriend who's mad at him of getting so drunk that night. So there you go, just some stuff to think about. Anyways, a Winnipeg man who has been racked up millions of TikTok views by posting videos of him simply smiling on camera. Barat Yankee challenges anyone watching his videos to try not to smile. He says that he receives messages from people from all at all time telling him that their child could not get through without smiling. He says that he wants to spread his smile to cheer up others during the pandemic. His handle, @white.smile, as opposed to, some of my other friends and colleagues that work here who use their TikTok accounts to stop people from smiling. So there you go. If you want some more information, you can go to tinyurl.com and just type in, the easy memorable of 5CH 4H3NA. Yes, that's tinyurl.com 5CH 4H3NA. So there you go. Just some information there for you. Just to be able to do so. Anyway, so before I get too far into this, let me tell you about this, because this will continue to be important throughout this year. And it'll be important to be throughout any time that you hear me on any of our airwaves. Let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Know that you are not alone. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or you have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, you can go to afsp.org. That's afsp.org, or call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or you can text the word TALK to 741-741. Anyways, we'll get into some more new stuff here in just one moment, but you know that I got Johnny Smalls here, and he's always here to get you motivated, so let's do that right now.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Michael. Jim Valvano said, "Never give up. Failure and rejection are only the first step towards succeeding." So very true. Think of the number of stories you hear of somebody who worked hard at something for a long time. Then something finally happened. One day, everything clicked, and they were an overnight success. It just took them 10 years to get there. Sadly, there are too many people who quit way too early to ever enjoy that feeling. It's not easy to struggle, but that's often part of success. If you want to succeed, don't quit before you get there. Put in the effort to succeed, and don't quit. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quote can be submitted for an upcoming program at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlysaMorgan.com. If you're looking to improve the way you eat, one of the easiest places to start is time-restricted eating. This concept refers to eating within a specific time window without restricting calories. For example, you might consume all your meals between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. or 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. and not eat the remaining hours of the day. Time-restricted eating has been shown to increase lean muscle mass, reduce inflammation and oxidative stress, repair and regenerate cells' ability to produce energy, improve cognitive function, and enhance autophagy, the process by which your body gets rid of old and weak cells to build new, robust cells. Snacking and late-night eating interferes with your body's ability to rest, repair, and regenerate. And if you're looking to optimize the way you eat, optimizing your feeding window may be one of the easiest ways to start. For additional resources on optimizing your wellness, visit AlysaMorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, we are definitely trying to be something. Let's figure out what that exactly means here in the next little bit, because I always think that those things might be kind of important. Anyways, 53 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out doing our gig, doing our thing together, and all that kind of fun stuff. So anyways, let's get moving and grooving as we are about to get you the hell out of here because, it's almost that time. It is definitely almost that time. So what else do we have going on? Let's talk about some reasons to celebrate today. Today, J.R.R. Tolkien Day, recognizing the birth of the author of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. The J.R.R. Society asked for fans to honor his 1892 birth with a toast. So there you go. Thank God it's Monday, celebrating the great things that happen on Mondays, like new jobs, new promotion, new week, new resolutions, and all those other things that you give you a reason to celebrate. I'm celebrating the fact that after Monday, the week usually the week doesn't get worse. So I guess that's a good reason to celebrate. Also, another day to celebrate today is weigh-in day, when many plan to kick off their resolution to lose weight on the first day back to work in the new year. So there you go. They also celebrate chocolate-covered cherry day, celebrating the traditional dessert with variants of that include cherry liqueur fillings, often included in cherry liqueur, chocolate-covered candy cherries, and chocolate-covered dry cherries. So go ahead, wasn't one of those resolutions to eat more fruit? So I guess that's one way to do it. Or just do the TRE method, as was just talked about over the last few moments. There you go. Drinking Straw Day, celebrating the invention date of the 1888. Drinking straws were hand-rolled until 1905. How on earth did kids were able to enjoy their juice in minivans before the inventions of the straws? So just something to think about. Festival to Sleep Day is also another day you can celebrate today, are declared to some of the anonymous walking zombies wherever. So there you go. Thanks to a combination of late hours, alcohol, rich foods, exposure to unfamiliar surroundings, and artificial light deep into the night over holiday, experts say that most of us build up sleep debt, a condition which can affect how well we sleep for weeks afterwards. Also, last but not least, Humiliation Day. No, it's not a day to humiliate someone. Today, we recognize the negative effects that humiliation can have on people or groups of people or dogs forced to wear onesies. So some stuff to think about for sure. Anyways, if you're looking for some birthdays for today, Stephen Hills turned 77. John Paul Jones turned 76. Victoria Principal turned 72. Mel Gibson turned 66. Michael Schumer turns 53. Thomas Beniganti turns 47. He's a Paris electronica musician by Daft Punk, just in case. 1975, so 47 today, Danica McKellar, TV actress from the Wonder Years. 1981, 41 today, Eli Manning. 26, Florence Pugh, just in case. And then Greta Thunberg turned 19 today. So just in case you were looking for some birthdays for today, you got them going on right now. Anyways, let's talk about some whack facts before we get you out of here. More couples celebrate or divorce in January than any other month of the year. Adult cats only meow at humans, not other cats. If a polar bear and a grizzly bear mate, their offspring is called a pizzy bear. During the entire run of Gilligan Island's TV show, it never revealed if Gilligan was his first or last name. During your lifetime, you'll eat about 60,000 pounds of food. That's the weight of about 6 elephants. Did you know that attics were invented in Attica? And that's not a joke.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, some scoops of BS real quick. Wallet Hub has ranked the worst credit card companies, and once again, MasterCard tops the list. When reached for a comment, a rep called the survey ridiculous, then placed us on hold for 6 hours so they could add on some hidden surcharges while performing 10 unannounced credit checks. The town of Elgin, South Carolina, was shaken by a Series 5 earthquake last week. State officials estimate that it caused about $250,000 in improvements. New data shows that teen marijuana use has dipped in Colorado since the legalization, mainly because even pot seems lame once your parents and friends get into it. According to a report, over half the men and women between the ages of 18 to 24 have not had sex in the past year. So while college may not prepare you for your career, it can be a great preparation for married life. Fact of the day, if you give a bee 2 tablespoons of honey, it'll have enough energy and fuel to fly around the world. But if you give the same amount of weed, it will lay on the couch for weeks watching the Discovery Channel. Something to think about.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so if you need a random joke for today, here you go. An optimist stays up until midnight to see the new year. A pessimist stays up to make sure that the old year leaves. If you need a phone starter for today, try this one. What's one thing you're excited about in the coming up of 2022? If you need something for the water cooler, try this. This occurs more often in the first week of the new year than any other time. What is it? Firing and layoffs. I know, not the stuff you want to hear. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on safetyfm.com and radiobig.fm. If you want to come out and hang out with us, you're more than welcome in doing so. I'm going to go over to radiobig.fm, hang out for the next couple hours or so. Anyways, thanks for coming out, hanging out this morning. I really do appreciate it. We can't do what we do without you, the most important part. Anyways, if I can leave you with a thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Cheers to a new year and another chance for us to get it right. I know who you are. You know who I am.
Duh.
Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.